Hello there, and welcome to day one of the Greatness Within journey. It's 31 days of mini sessions to reconnect with yourself and start confidently creating a life worthy of you or a life that you love waking up to. It's about using your voice, it's about standing out your way, it's about creating a life that's in full alignment with you. That process for me started several years ago. I'm relatively successful, but at that specific point in time in my life, I was in a break room, pretty much depressed. I've been kicked out of my role. I'm questioning life. I'm questioning my journey. I'm questioning everything, life as itself. And then just trying to figure out what went wrong. What went wrong because I thought I was doing the right things. So, in the process of growing and reflecting through that, I started journaling, and in the process of journaling, I said, uh, "What happened? Why this?" And at that moment, three memories came to life, or three memories came to me. The first memory that came to me was one of my dad taking me to play baseball. We're meeting, we're walking down center field. We're meeting this person that seems to be a coach, and that was my first baseball game ever. My dad always wanted me to play sports, so that time was the time for baseball. And it turned out to be a good thing. Had talent, I played really well that year, and I ended up representing my country of Panama in the Latin American Games. And ever since then, I played for 9 years in a row, almost daily. Ended up with being offered to play professional baseball, and I chose not to do that. That's a different story, but this story of sports came into success. It was a success. Then after that memory came the memory of my mom and I just driving through one of the downtown roads. We're headed home, and people watching. As we get to the traffic light, she turns to me and says, "Hey, what are you going to do for college?" And I pretty much shrugged and said, "I don't really know. Haven't really thought about it. I'll probably do some of the engineerings because that's one of the few careers available back then in Panama." And then she turned to me and said, "Well, why don't you do actuarial science?" A lot of people in the insurance space are telling me that because you're good at math, you should just do that and see what happens. And I said, "Well, that sounds different. I have no idea what it is. So, sure, why not? I'll just do that because I just want to be different. I don't want to do what everybody else does." And I ended up going through that. And I was successful in college and I finished. Then came the third memory. And the third memory is just right after college. It's just recognizing that I went into the workforce. I showed up early. I left late. I met and exceeded expectations. I did what my boss told me to. I satisfied the customers I had, and things went well. And very shortly, I got promoted to manage a team of 5 people. We are handling business around $4 billion in revenue, and we're taking care of 300,000 lives, pricing for their Medicare, their health insurance products, and everything's going well. So these three stories, I say, well, why these three? And especially these three, and why that sequence? And at that moment, I realized something. I realized that for pretty much my entire life, I had been doing what other people told me to do. Whether that was right or wrong, whether it was good intentions or not, it doesn't really matter. I just realized, hey, I'm succeeding, and I succeeded doing something that other people told me to, but I also failed. And at that specific point in time, I was being fired from my role, so I failed. So I said, if I can fail doing the best practices and what other people say is the best thing for me to do, why not just do what I want to do and see what happens? So that was the decision, that moment. Um, Several years ago, I decided to start pursuing the process, going through the process of figuring out what I wanted to do. 6 years later, I got fired again, but this time I wasn't sad, I wasn't depressed, I wasn't doubting myself, I was happy, I was relieved. Why? Because I had created a situation in which I was doing what I loved. I had a following. I facilitated the first time ever leadership summit for anybody that wanted to attend in the company, not just the VIPs as they usually do. And it was just get to travel to different places, train internationally and speak internationally. And it was doing well. It was going well, but I was doing what I wanted. So that's the process of the greatness within journey, is the process of figuring out who you are, what you want to do, who you want to be, and then how do you implement, how do you take the life from today and transform it into a life where you're confidently doing what you actually want to do. And in this process there are 5 stages, and I'm gonna discuss those as we go through the days. But here are the 5 stages, personas, characters, or I would say the 5 stages of your evolution. Stage number 1 is the challenger, and I call that step the passionately challenge everything you know. You're the challenger. You're the challenger because in order for you to evolve into who you want to be, you're going to have to challenge everything you know right now. You're going to have to go through the process of unlearning so you can make room to choose or to identify what you truly are, what represents you, what you value, what's your vision, what's your purpose, what are your strengths, what are the things that you are kind of designed to do here. That's stage 1. Stage 2 is once you challenge, you have to figure out what the hell am I, or who am I, and what is actually mine. And that process is the seeker. You're seeking for your own answers. You're seeking for the things that truly represent you and align with you. So that's a process of relearning or rediscovering who you are. And then after you rediscover who you are, then comes the implementation. That's step 3. Stage 3 is the designer. It's the one where you're purposely claiming your space. You now know who you are. Now comes the process of designing life in accordance to you. It's figuring out what things of your current situation or current life fit in with who you are, what things need to go away, what things need to be restructured, eliminated, what new things need to be added. So it's the process of implementing everything that you know. How do you make decisions going forward based on what you are, who you are, what you want, and all those things. And then after you design, at some point you're making happen. And that is the stage of the creator. You're creating life in accordance to you. And what usually happens is that you'll be doing things you've never done before, and people would like to give you their opinion, their 2 cents. They'll tell you it's not going to work. They'll tell you it can work, but you have to do it a certain way. You yourself will start self-doubting. You'll start reaching adversity, obstacles, and challenges, and all these things. So this is the process of figuring out how do you handle that? How do you manage all that emotion, all that stress that could come from it, all the people that will give you feedback? How do you find people that actually want to help you as opposed to just give you their opinion? So that's stage 4, the creator space. And you're creating, you're doing the thing, you're standing out. And because you stand out, people are going to just start talking to you and telling you a bunch of things and try to convince you to go back to what you were doing before. That's the process of the creator. And then finally, once you make it happen, as you make it happen, certain things you'll realize, hey, my plans don't go according to what I expected. Life throws curveballs at you, and life also throws random blessings. And stage 5 is called the co-creator, and it's gratefully welcoming the journey. You're learning to not just make it happen, you're learning to make it welcome. Because as you move confidently in the direction of what you want, life and the universe, God, and whatever you want to call the existence or this force that's out there, will start helping you get there. It just may not be how you want it to be. So you kind of have to welcome the help. And that could be life, that could be a person that you didn't think of, that could be an opportunity, so many different things. So all this is about learning how to welcome it all. And if you kind of put it all in perspective, it really is a cycle, because you have to go through the process of unlearning, relearning, and then learning to welcome the random ways life helps you. So the challenge for today, as I explained the whole thing, is just identify which stage are you in. Are you the challenger? Are you the seeker? Are you designing? Are you curating? Or are you co-creating? Which one are you? What do you think that is? And as you go identify that now, feel free to share it with me. Comment, send me an email, private message me, whatever you found this. So that is your task for today. That's all you have to identify. Which stage do you think you're in? Now, if you're not in any of these stages, that's okay too. Just keep thinking, processing, and enjoying it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you.